Speaker, the kidnapping, the killing and the mutilation of the respected Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi has rightly shocked the world. A killing that has all the hallmarks of being a premeditated murder. Angela Merkel has announced her government will no longer approve new arms sales exports to the Saudi kingdom. That is moral leadership. The UK government must take decisive action. Words of condemnation will not do. Will the Prime Minister finally commit to ending the sale of arms to Saudi Arabia?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it might be helpful for the House if I take this opportunity to update the House on this particular issue, because as I told the House on Monday, we condemn the killing of the journalist Jamal Khashoggi in the strongest possible terms. And after his disappearance, we made clear that Saudi Arabia must cooperate with Turkey and conduct a full and credible investigation. The claim that has been made that Mr. Khashoggi died in a fight does not amount to a credible explanation, so there does remain an urgent need to establish exactly what has happened in relation to this. The Foreign Secretary, other foreign ministers and our ambassador have been making our position very clear to the Saudi Arabians. I myself expect to speak to King Salman later today, and I can update the House that no minister or official is attending the investment conference in Saudi Arabia, and my right honourable friend, the Home Secretary, is taking action against all suspects to prevent them entering the UK. And if these individuals currently have visas, those visas will be revoked today.
Blackford.
Well, I'm afraid the Prime Minister said nothing about arms sales. Condemnation won't do. It's action which is required. Mr. Speaker, the Saudi Arabia regime is responsible for multiple human rights violations. Critics face death by crucifixion, teenagers tortured, women imprisoned for campaigning for their human rights, the brutal bombardment of Yemen, pushing that country to the brink of famine, and now the state-sponsored murder of Jamal Khashoggi. What more evidence of criminality does the Prime Minister need before she fully commits to ending the sales of arms to the brutal regime in Saudi Arabia?
Prime Minister.
I say to the right honourable gentleman, we are concerned about the humanitarian issues in the Yemen, that we are actually the third largest humanitarian donor to the Yemen, and our support has provided significant support to millions of men, women and children in the Yemen. I might remind the right honourable gentleman that, yes, we do support the Saudi-led coalition military intervention in Yemen. That has been recognised by the United Nations Security Council, and it came at the request of the legitimate President Hadi. Now, in relation to defence exports, the procedures we follow are among the strictest in the world. They were introduced in the year 2000 by the late Robin Cook. They were updated in 2014 by the Conservative-led coalition government to reflect our obligations under the Arms Trade Treaty. And a licence will not be issued to Saudi Arabia or any other destination if to do so would be inconsistent with any provision of the consolidated EU and national arms export licensing criteria. And in July 2017, the High Court ruled that our sales to Saudi Arabia were compliant with those regulations. But of course, we keep these under review.
A lot of members still waiting to contribute, and we must try to accommodate them. Richard.